welcome to the Toffee Blue Extra Show, your midweek extra source of all things Everton. I'm Tom, and I'm here with Paul again this week. Welcome, Paul. And in this segment, we're going to talk about Henry Onyekuru and whether he's got a future at Everton, and what we think how he's done so far in Galatasaray, and obviously last season on loan at Anderlecht, and his future at Everton, and how that would happen under the circumstances, because it's quite a bit of a grey area, the circumstances in which Henry Onyekuru will end up at Everton. So we're going to discuss that anyway. So he's at Galatasaray and he scored twice this week. He's returned to form a little bit because he's had quite a few niggles this season, which have kept him in and out of the side. But the fans do like him and think there's definitely a prospect there, and they're definitely warming to Henry Onyekuru. He's been playing on the right wing since he came back from injury. I think it was 3 weeks ago. The previous 2 weeks before this week's game, he played on the right wing and he had a bit of a quiet game. But the coach still wants to give him chances because he knows there's a player there, definitely. And he played at the weekend, and he started up front. They played with 2 attackers rather than 3 like they normally do. So he was given more of a central role, and he was all over the pitch really. He was coming deep to try and find the ball, and he didn't. I think he only made 6 passes in the game because he must have felt a little bit more isolated up front, but he still managed 2 goals, so that's got to be put down as a good performance. Now, about him coming to Everton, he could have been at Everton this season if it weren't for something happening at Anderlecht last year. He broke his leg at Anderlecht. He came back to receive some treatment, and then when he returned from injury, Anderlecht refused to play him. So he didn't get a place in the Nigeria's World Cup squad, and Onyekuru came out afterwards and said that Anderlecht purposely did not play him so that he wouldn't get in the World Cup squad, so that they could possibly keep him for another year, which was quite sneaky. And Onyekuru was clever to come out and say that, and make it public. Everton responded by saying, "Fine, then you're not having him next year. We'll send him someone else instead." They found another Champions League club in Galatasaray to send him out to, and now he's doing pretty well out there. So it's all turning out good, and hopefully he'll end up at Everton. I think the criteria is that he has to be a top-level international player, so hopefully he can establish himself in the Champions League and also on the international stage for Nigeria, and he's back in the squad. He was put on standby for the Nigeria squad for this upcoming international break, and Onyekuru, the former Watford striker, has pulled out due to injury. So Onyekuru's found his way back into the squad, so he'll be one to look out for this international break. But have you watched him, Paul? What do you think of him as a player?
I've watched little snippets of him. He seems quite pacey, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's not the bulkiest of players, but what's the word? I don't think he's a weakling by looking at him. I'll be interested to see if he does end up at Everton. I'll be interested to see which position we play him in. Are we going to just stick him out wide like Galatasaray seems to be trying, or is he definitely going to be a number 9 central type of forward? Be interesting, because I think maybe as a central player, there could be a future for him there. A lot of fans want to see us sign a new striker, but if he's going to be mainly operating out wide, then we've got a lot of options in those areas. We've got other players in those areas to come back from loan. We've got Vlasic, who's out on loan as well. We've got players like Kieran Dowell, who as well, he's trying to break in and find a place for himself somewhere. So Onyekuru, I'd be interested to see what he can do if he comes to England, because I think there's definitely a player with ability there, but whether he ever manages to get the qualifications that are needed to come over, I don't know. And whether he's even in Marco Silva's thinking, who knows if that's the case, because Marco Silva definitely didn't sign him. Was he a Koeman signing or Walsh signing?
Yeah, Steve
do we know?
Walsh. Yeah.
Was he Steve Walsh signing?
Yeah, so Steve Walsh.
Yeah, so he was signed by a completely different regime. So who knows what the current regime thinks of him? Does Marcel Brands and Marco Silva watch him at all? Do they keep track of him? Do they have any plans for him? Or is this just someone where when he eventually turns up, they're just going to think, no, you're not in our plans. We've got no place for you. You can just move on. So I don't know. Maybe he'll be the victim of circumstances. Maybe he will get here and get given a chance, and he might take the chance or not take the chance. I'm not sure, but it is interesting what you're saying, because he's doing okay for Galatasaray. I think they are a better club than Anderlecht, what he was last season. It's a higher level of, it's a higher standard level in that league, because you're playing some real big fiery games, don't you? And he's getting some good experience, I think. So Onyekuru, As I said, I think his future at Everton, it will mostly decide on what type of position he's going to nail down and what's he going to identify himself as. Is he just going to be a kind of a wide player who cuts in, or is he going to be a central player? Because whatever he decides to do, or whatever his manager decides he's best at, I think that will be the most crucial thing in deciding on whether or not he's got a future at Everton or not. Yeah, the thing with Onyekuru is, I mean, this might sound a bit harsh, and I don't mean this to really do him down, because I'm sure he's a better player, obviously, but when I hear about Onyekuru and I read about him, it just reminds me a lot of Shinji Tarajai type thing, where he's a player who's brought in by a previous regime. You know, lots of fuss is made over him. He's going to be one for the future. We're going to see lots of him, just not right now. And then by the time he actually gets here properly and he's ready for an opportunity, the old regime who signed him's gone. And the new manager who's here just kind of doesn't have any reason to put any investment in him. So he's just got to basically prove himself all over again. I mean, I don't know what Silva and Brands think of him. Maybe they had a look at him this summer, because I know he was back training with us this summer before he went back out on loan again. And maybe he impressed them, maybe he didn't. But I really hope that he's not kind of out of sight, out of mind type of thing. I hope that he is getting watched and I was going to say scouted them. He's already our players. We don't have to scout him. But yeah, I really hope that they are sending people out to really, really keep an eye on him and write detailed reports, because I hate to think that he's just a player who is basically just been forgotten about, and Silva and Brands just don't think that they have any reason to kind of invest in him type of thing. I think every player, no matter who you are, who you were signed by, what position you play, you should get given a fair chance. And I think he will have been given that. But I really hope that Brands and Silva are really. I hope he's in there thinking, same as other players like Vlasic is. I hope it's just not a case of where they've sent him out on loan basically just so they don't have to think about him for a year, and that when he comes back, they're just hoping that he's impressed enough that they can sell him on for a decent amount of money. I hope Onyekuru, when he does come, because I think he will, surely. He'll beat the requirements, yeah. And when he does arrive, he's going to get given a fair crack.
Yeah, definitely. He's a blue, isn't he? He's come out a few times and said, like, playing for Everton's his dream. So I'm hoping he gets that dream. Fingers crossed for him. Fingers crossed for you, Henry Onyekuru. You follow your dream. You will get it. Hopefully, you'll play under Marco Silva and you'll oust Theo Walker from the team, and you'll be flying for Everton as soon as possible.
No.
Yeah, I'm sure we've got officials watching him and seeing how he plays in different positions, because he is being experimented with a little bit by the Galatasaray manager. Obviously, having played up front at the weekend and being employed in the right wing usually, but he reminds me of Lookman a little bit, because he's quite small in stature. He's only, I think he's like 5'6", 5'7", something like that. And so if you put him in the middle in the Premier League, I'm not sure if he has the physicality for that. So he's more likely to be a winger. But the same with Lookman. I think he played up front for Charlton a few times. But obviously we want to play him as a winger. So I can draw similarities there. They're both obviously pacey players with a bit of skill as well. So I think he's a bit of a similar player, but I can see him playing on the wing. I think he could get into the side at the moment if he were at Everton. I think he'd be pushing Walcott for a starting place, because he's a quality player, but hopefully he will develop out there on loan. I'm not sure whether he'll be ready. I do think if he performs well on the international stage for Nigeria, then he'll be ready for Everton. He'll come over, but there are quite strict rules. I think it's a bit daft for I think they're very tight, the rules at the moment, so hopefully he will be allowed in. But if you're watching, Henry, anyway, shout out to you, because I know he follows us on Instagram. So good old Henry Onyekuru, if you're watching. Good luck to you, mate. Hope you break into the Everton side sometime soon. So we'll wrap it up there for that segment anyway. So thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on the video. Thanks, Paul, for joining us again, and make sure you follow us on social media as well. Our tags are below our pictures, so make sure you follow us and follow Everton Newsfeed, the Toffee Blues on Twitter too. Thanks for watching.